Welcome back, homemakers, to the Lucky Die. Previously, Laffian returns to the shack, Rhal tells the dead, Squash learns about Soulfire, and Zaltanna goes on a date. After escaping the prison with Lindren, Rhal takes Amy to the site of their future home, where they meet up with Laffian and Kythea. Back at the Witcher Society, Zaltanna meets with Adet for the first of many promised dates, while Squash probes Tremhal for knowledge. What does Dragonleaf Sap do? What kind of dates will Adet take Zaltanna on? And how fireproof will Rhal and Amy's new home be? I guess we're about to find out. Welcome back to the Lucky Die.
I'm going to say that Laffian and Kythea's night is wrapped up. I know that Zaltanna and Adet's night, at least for the next hour or so, is wrapped up. Rhal, Ama, is there anything significant you want to do before the long rest commences?
I think at some point before we leave, which doesn't have to be right now, the only things that Rhal has to do, he wants to talk to his Tabaxi friend, wants to check on Caden, see if Caden's all right. And I can't remember, there was something else, but it's basically just like talk.
Cool. That's definitely like tomorrow things. That's perfect.
But he did want to rest, so he can just...
Yeah, we'll get the rest done. Squash, done for the evening?
Well, I think Squash is going to start researching the book he found from Demi.
Oh, the So You Want to Be a Wizard book?
The Great Experiment in Magic.
Yeah, you want to be a wizard. Okay, great.
My first spell book.
Yeah.
My first spell book.
Okay.
Third edition.
Yeah. I think Squash is just going to go to the barracks or whatever and just start thumbing through that.
Okay. As you go to the barracks, you can either have a bed of your own or you can go somewhere else to study. It doesn't really matter. As you kind of begin thumbing through this and trying to figure out this mass of notes and figure out where the hell you should even start on this stuff. Actually, no, I'm going to ask you a question first.
Mm-hmm.
Squash's intent is to learn magic?
Well, I have to... Demi has gotten herself into some real complicated magic bullshit. And I want Squash to help her. So...
Really easy.
I think, basically, the idea is maybe that on level, I think it's 16, I get a feat, so I could take magic initiative, and we could explain that through the book or something like that.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay. If your intent is for the magic use, then that's great. I can work with that. That's fine. Okay. As you begin to thumb through this book, trying to figure out where the hell you should even start, you hear little feet, one set of little feet, and you hear a slightly older, heftier person walking, and they kind of very meekly walk over to where you're studying, and they just hover kind of just a little bit out of immediate range, kind of you can hear them talking to one another, and you hear one person just so quiet, even with your amazing hearing, you can't quite hear what they're saying, but you hear Taylor's very soft voice talking back to them.
Squash. They walked close to me and then stopped just to hover out of my sight, just out of sight.
They're hovering just out of they're not close enough to they have to talk to. They're not in your bubble, but they're kind of a little bit far away where they're kind of talking to each other, and they seem to be really nervously talking back to one another.
All right. Squash, after ignoring them for like a couple of seconds and the chattering still going, is just gonna like slowly push the book a little bit away from himself and like turn around in the seat. And he's like, hi, you're Tayless, right?
Yep. Hi.
Rondi?
Yeah, this is Rondi.
I'm supposed to know the third one, but I don't.
No, wait, sorry, this one's Zach. Rondi's not here yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to
My
have
bad.
I seem to have perceived the future past.
It's okay. No, this is Zach.
Ow.
Zach says that you helped save him from the people that took him and his mum.
I was there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a strange thing to ask, and I don't know. I don't really know you very well, but Auntie Anna and Uncle Laffian and Uncle Rhal seem to like talking to you a lot. And I know you went in the mirror place with Uncle Rhal and brought Auntie Emma back. So, hi, I'm Tayless, and could you sign this card for me? It just have to have your name on it. And she presents like this card of a fairly good charcoal representation of you.
Oh.
It's just in case when you all save the world that people know how to spell your name properly, because I know that your name is Squash, but Zach says that halflings sometimes have loads of names, so you can cover the whole front with all of your names. It's okay. I just want to make sure that people remember. And she kind of does that smile where she's clearly hiding something.
Squash like turns the thing over. Is there anything about it that like Squash feels this off?
Take an Arcana check.
No, I'm bad at those.
Cover it in
I
sap.
swear to God, if you get a natural 20, I will kill you.
Arcana.
Oh, you should give Talus the tree sap.
That's a 7.
The cards will be monstrous. They'll be jumbo-sized. On a 7, no, you have absolutely no inkling what this is.
All right. Then I guess... Dumb question. Do you remember my last name? Because I, for some reason, have not written it down.
Connolly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a real bad move on my behalf.
As somebody who's had to struggle with multiple names on this podcast, how could you?
I still call you Laffian now.
You still call me Balance.
No, I call you Laffian.
No, you don't.
Okay,
You last episode called me Balance.
I was a fuck up.
Among many.
Squash kind of just has the card in his hand and he's just kind of flipping it over in his head. And there's definitely a part of him that's looking at a picture of himself probably for the first time in his life. And it's just kind of weird.
Aww.
Like, yeah. Who's gonna see this? What are you gonna do with this?
I'm just gonna have it to one side so when people write their books about this, that they have your name and what you look like. So the future history books, which will be the history books in the future, they'll have your pictures on them. Did I do it wrong?
No, it's really nice. It's very nice.
It's okay if you don't want to. And she puts her hand out to take the card back.
He's like slips it away from her, and, like puts it on the table, and reaches over to whatever there is to write with.
Yeah, inks, quills, whatever. Charcoal.
And he writes out his given name, Don Connolly.
When you write that down, the card kind of like flashes bright blue for a second, and her hand just sneaks out and grabs the card like,
Ooh, you fell.
Thank
for
you.
Oh,
you
he's gonna
fell for
like.
it.
I know Squash is smaller and can not stop anybody from doing anything right now. He still like grabs onto her, onto their like the hem of the rope or something, and just like, no, just keep it to yourself, right? It's for the books, right?
She looks down at the card, realizes she's been rumbled a bit, and she says, I promise it's not gonna hurt you. I just want to help.
Squash kind of just lets go.
And also the books, the pictures last and the name stays. So I wasn't lying about that. It's just not my first thought with it. Please don't tell my daddy. He'd be super mad at me.
No. Don't worry. Go do your things. I have books to read.
You see her and like Zach turn around and walk away. They're a little bit slower and sadder than they were before. Do you hear her so quietly say like, I think maybe we did bad thing. And you hear Zach say something and she says, I don't know. Maybe he's just sad. I don't know. Anyway, we have Auntie Ama to go find now. And then we have Auntie Ed. And then you hear them like walking away. Okay. You find this book a struggle. The book that you are reading is intense and it's very... You know Demi to be a very flighty person, but when she talks magic, she's very focused. And after you get through the initial rambling, the book becomes very technical, very focused, very in-depth. Mm-hmm. You could definitely learn magic from this, but it would take a long time.
Okay.
Especially with no one else to assist or help. If you were to have a teacher, it would go a lot quicker. So you find this difficult, and eventually at some point you will probably have to give it up and drift off to sleep for the evening.
Can I?
No.
Maybe.
No.
So... The problem is that I have a lot of information to mull over, right? There's a lot of stuff I have to think through.
Yes. There is a lot of stuff in here.
Can I use God Dreams to ease off the kind of time commitment that I can use my sleeping time to kind of focus and study?
Yes. There will be consequences,
Life
and
hack.
it's not something that you could start tonight.
Okay.
This works in college.
We'll get into the specifics. We will get into the specifics of this later, but this is a possibility and an avenue you could pursue for sure.
All right. Then I want to just real quick before we end this scene, Squash goes out and finds somebody who sells God's Dream, and he's just going to pick up 10, just so he has, like, if we end up going somewhere in the morning, I don't want to get fucked by this because I only have 3 doses.
That's good. Don't specify how many 10 is. Just say 10. So later you can be like, no, I picked up 10 pounds. V, remember?
No.
That's like 100 doses,
no.
right?
No. You, yeah, you can go out and find a few doses. I am going to be a bastard, however.
Mm-hmm.
You make it out and you come out with basically 4 doses.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot on the street right now, inverted commas, because everyone is, obeying Appella's law and being upright citizens.
Yeah, you probably get like your feet chopped off for doing drugs in Appella's world.
No, as stated before, God's Dream is more like NyQuil.
Yeah.
It's not like a drug.
Yeah.
This is over-the-counter stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, this is, exactly that. Except it also has the additional magical property of potentially lucid dreaming. So, yeah, you can hold on if you wish. All right. Morning comes and it is pouring down with rain. There is lightning going off all around you. It is sometimes not hitting the ground, maybe a random side effect of all of this world breaking that has been going on. But the lightning is quite intense. So Zaltanna, when you wake up in the mistress of the Witcher Society room, you are basically awoken by all these flashes of light, and Odette is not with you. For those of you in the shit shack, rain is beginning to drip through the ceiling into your room. You probably have been meditating for a while, so you kind of begin to feel it before it gets too bad. For Ama and Rhal, who have probably gone back to the barracks, yeah, you wake up cozy and happy.
I'm hitting the long rest button.
No stress on me.
You may hit the long rest button, folks.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
I needed that.
My things are back. I'm good.
Life.
I feel lucky again.
Life.
Imagine
force.
a long rest.
Wow. I can't.
Yo, I was at 25 HP out of 111.
Yeah. You and me both have been around that. It's been not great. I wasn't ready.
Are you both
weren't
triple
ready.
digits now?
No one was ready.
Yep.
Triple digits?
Yes,
Yes.
they are.
Yes.
Fuck.
I'm 113.
I'm almost there, guys. I'll get there.
Oh, little baby.
My max is 87. Leave me alone.
Casey, I love you so much right now.
Listen, in a fight, I'm usually the last one that goes down, all right? It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
right.
You don't have to be big and strong. Me and Rhal can do that for you.
I have big brain.
Okay. So I'm going to assume that y'all meet up for breakfast, but you don't have to.
Kathia
It's
breakfast.
entirely up to you.
Ah, yes. Coming in for breakfast looking real well rested.
V, you can't say that she doesn't know what we like because she made our last meals.
Yeah, but she made two people dinner. She made one of you gruel. With the assistance of Laffian, who is learning how to cook.
Yeah.
Kaithia makes as best a meal as she can with the rations that y'all have been given. You would assume because of Apella, food is being rationed out very carefully right now, and you receive your portions. Kaithia whips them into as good a breakfast as she can possibly make, with the assistance of Laffian, who is learning how to do this cooking stuff. Some of you find whatever things have been cooked a little more charred than maybe you'd have liked it, but it's getting there. It's far better than being on fire, so we're getting there. You'll find yourselves at breakfast.
I think Squash is pretty quick to start shoveling food in his face, and eventually he kind of just looks over to Laffian and kind of goes, Laffian,
Yes.
am I misremembering, or do we have a book on avatars?
I believe currently that's in the hands of Kaithia.
And where is Kaithia?
Yeah.
She-
Hi.
Oh,
Hi, Katie.
Right.
You would see her.
is there any chance I could read that book?
Sure. She kind of rummages around in the side bag she has and pulls out this book and she hands it over. It's it's written by a madman, but it should help. What are you looking for? Maybe I know.
Oh,
I read that book pretty thoroughly.
I'm just, Squash looks around. There's we're in a food hall, but he's basically just looking for anybody unnecessarily focused on our conversation.
Unnecessarily close? Yeah. No.
If I understand correctly, what's happening to Demi, she's becoming an avatar for Grumsh. And I just want to know what that means. I want to know. I just want to try to help.
There's a section in the book that I didn't read because it had nothing to do with us, or that doesn't come from our world. That's not our existence in there. So the rules are, they're close, but they're not exactly the same. There's a section in there I didn't read. It's the middle third. That might be where you want to start.
Squash opens the book, roughly finds where she would mean, and then he bends the corner to everybody else's horror, and then closes the book again.
The look of sheer disgust
Yes.
on every
mirrored
book nerd
by
in the room.
Kaithia's.
Squash has,
Every book nerd in real life. either.
Squash has no concept of like good book etiquette.
So that would be Laffian, Kythea, and Ama. All
Yep.
three are just...
And Ama. Yep. What do you think? What is he doing?
I don't know.
I have
That's
no
just
idea.
barbaric.
It's a book.
Maybe we should make him not do that. It's very bad.
It's going to leave
Anyway.
a crease.
You have a section marked in a book.
Thank you.
I can probably fill in a little bit of info just from what Kesa had told us.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I understand it anyways, it's Demi is going to be channeling Grumsh so that when we have to go, well, when the gods have to go deal with the whole...
Shh.
that is looking around. When that is a thing, she's going to be channeling that to help that whole thing the same way that Emil is going to be.
Right. If Trampel explained it correctly to me, it's a vessel. It's a casing, just something to keep the gods.
Right. It's kind of like insulation.
That's a good one. Yeah. No, I'm just. I know Demi didn't want
Do you
it.
want me to look into it? I know you guys have got things to do.
Yeah. That would be nice, I guess. No, I don't guess. That would be super nice. Thank you. And Squash
She puts a hand out for the book.
Very slowly unfolds the corner, flattens it against the corner of the table.
I just need to find someone with mending. Does anybody here know mending?
I don't. I only have minor illusion. I can make it look like it's not flattened like that.
It's just not good enough. I don't think that's going to work.
sorry, it's a birth
she
thing.
takes the book back, unfolds the crease, and she's just,
I'll have a look and see if I can figure it out a bit more.
Thank you. Squash is making effort to make eye contact during this. He's just like trying to establish this means a lot to me, guys. Come on, please, thank you. Please and thank you.
Okay, so yesterday we learned, we went to the library and we met this lady named Carmen, and she told us that she could find a way into Ogma's library, or at least maybe she knew someone who knew someone, you know what I mean. And we could go there to learn more about where we need to go for all these trials and tasks, where you need to go.
That reminds me, actually, Kathy, I think you were still trying to sleep when Ama had mentioned before, but there's a thing with Gyata about scrying and teleportation not being able to go in. That may be a problem.
Yeah, I had a little bit more of a think about it last night when I couldn't sleep, so I think that was the case. I think the only way to get there is on boat.
And if that's the case, that makes our lives a lot harder.
Yes.
Unless we teleported into the ocean and swam the rest of the way, but I don't fancy doing that.
Just a look of sheer horror on
not.
Squash's face when you say that.
yep. Ama has exactly the same terrified look.
Unless we can teleport a boat, but I don't think we could.
I think mostly they are only people teleportations. I don't think items so much. Boats.
I mean, I could make the portal, but my portals don't go quite as far.
So what do we want to do? What can I do to help? Me too, I can help.
What else can we do? We kind of need to get in contact with Carmen and see if they've gotten that information in the time since, but I don't think it would be that fast. At least I dare not hope, but otherwise I'm not sure. We kind of already did as much research as can be done with the limited resources here.
Right, there's really not that much there.
Unless
Just
Pella's
pretty
people may
limited
know.
library. If I remember, likely Pella's people, they have planeswalkers. Perhaps they have a better chance of knowing.
Good follow-up.
We're looking for a library, right?
It's
We're
It's a place we could get more knowledge.
Yeah, that's the common guy would know more about that.
Right.
All right. Yeah, talking to Apella and her people might be worth it. They seem very receptive to our quest and our plight, so I don't think it would be unreasonable to expect them to try to help us.
I think it may be best if Zaltanna were to ask.
Me? Why?
Because she doesn't like me, and she seems to like you.
I mean, who doesn't like me? Don't answer that.
Damn it, I couldn't remember his name.
Dravos.
Yes.
Honorino.
Well, he doesn't have much of a choice anymore. I think it may be best if you went and spoke with her then. She
Yeah, I
made
can
it
do that.
abundantly clear that I am tolerated at most.
I don't think she dislikes you. I think she dislikes royalty.
They're kind of one and the same when it comes to me and my family.
I guess.
I can understand some people don't like the concept of the whole monarchy thing that we do, but
Okay, so what am I asking her about?
we need to find out more information about getting to Giata potentially, as well as the trials that we need to do, which seem to be linked somehow with Giata.
Okay.
I highly suspect that at the very least there's going to be a trial there.
So
And Emma mentioning the fact that it's supposedly the place where the first Sentinel touched down on this plane kind of makes me suspect more so that we're definitely going to have to go there.
I think you're right. So do we need her help getting there, or?
We need more information on where it is, how we would get there, and what port we would be able to go to, if any, if there is a teleportation rune that could potentially be accessed, that maybe there's a hole in their net, so to speak.
Oh, gotcha.
And
And I guess if not, perhaps a boat.
A very fast one.
Right.
and maybe it's worth bringing up to her. She seems very focused on learning. She might know something about the library.
I would omit that part.
Okay.
I think that might be on a more of a need-to-know basis, and I'm not sure that I think she needs to know.
Do you think she would use that library to learn about Dusk?
I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about... Well, I'm concerned, but...
Sorry.
I think it may be best with the library that we just leave that in the hands of Common.
Okay.
All right, I'll go talk to her after I'm done with my breakfast.
Imagine Zaltanna saying that with like a strip of bacon sticking out of the mouth.
Oh, 100%.
Fuck you guys, I'm making bacon later.
Do she looks at Squash and Rhal. Do either of you guys want to go with me? Obviously not balanced, but I can't imagine she would object to either you guys as quite as much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping, by the way, at the prison. I didn't expect to be fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I had not expected to be fighting either. Why?
Laughing and side-eyeing Squash.
Why did you go to the prison in the first place? What was your plan with Lindren?
I'm having Lindren sign over the property where that old shack is.
Ah.
Our home is broken. So now I won't have to fight for another one.
Well, once he does that, would you be terribly opposed to me smashing his face in?
No, I don't care.
Okay, cool. So it's a deal.
Rhal, I will also remind you, you are part of my family now. All of the Dusk is your home now. If you needed a home, you merely needed to ask.
Falsam is in the dawn.
Well,
Remember? We made that.
yes,
But
but
this
I'm
is our
saying
home.
more up north. There's plenty of territory there. We could have built you a home.
I know. I just wanted to have this as an option. And I only thought it would take a small conversation.
You can have a summer home near mine. We can go swimming on the lake when it's nice and cool in the summer.
Amy looks like she's about to say thank you, and then you mentioned swimming. She looks somewhat less happy, but she still says thank you.
We'll build a flotation device for you. It's not a worry.
Wow.
That I appreciate a lot more. Thank you.
What about me and
Falsam is
Squash?
outcome.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Zaltanna, you're just as much family as well. Squash, not so much. My dad didn't seem to like you quite as much.
Nah, you guys are royalty and heroes. I'll be happy if I can just hang out with you guys once this is all over.
You can have a sleepover at my place. I'll need to figure out a bed situation. We don't. We have, but they're not really for laying, more for... We'll figure something out.
Okay. We should probably go and wait for Carmen. She doesn't know about this place down here. And she's kind of helpful, but I don't know if we should let her know about this place just yet.
I wouldn't. Sorry, thinking of after all of this is done got me a little bit excited there, but...
Me too. Okay. I'm gonna go wait for Carmen. You guys do what you want to do. And she gets up and takes her leave. At that point, Ema also stands up and says, I have to go have a conversation with a certain dwarf. I will catch up with you a little bit later.
Don't do anything Zaltanna wouldn't do.
I'll come on. Rhal starts to act like he's coming too.
No. Well, I need to talk to Bogrim about something, okay?
You going to be okay?
I am prepared this time. He doesn't have any weapons. I can set him on fire. He doesn't strike me from behind. And then she pats the dagger that she has like hidden on her body. I'll be okay this time, okay? I promise.
Okay. I'll be right here. And Rhal I want to say that Rhal's been kind of distracted the whole dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast.
And a whole breakfast. And he's going to start doing something, but he'll let her go off and do her thing, I guess. I think that he's nervous, but he feels like she is definitely super capable. And I think that he knows that Bogrim's not going to like hurt her. He believes that Bogrim feels bad. So I don't think.
Bro, why do you still believe in Bogrim? Why?
Whatever delusions.
No, and he feels bad. It's just that I don't forgive him necessarily. He's not being forgiven. It's just that he's not fearful for Ema so much, you know?
Yeah.
If she thinks she can do it alone, he'll let her go do it because he doesn't think that Bogrim's as much of a threat as he once did.
Okay. All right, cool.
Before we
You say go off.
Before we split up, I wanted to mention something to you guys on the topic of after all this is done. I had a thought, and Kythea had been having a conversation, and I wanted your opinions on it. So, obviously, being of elvish descent as I am, assuming we don't die, have what I hope to be a very long life ahead of me. The same can't really be said for Kythea, though. She expressed wanting not to be directly involved with politics as my family is while we're together. And I understand that. I had the thought that during our time together, it would not be so horrible, I think, to allow my father to just continue running things and try to get the dusk back in order. And I had the thought that perhaps during that time, mayhaps Kaithi and I could try opening up a school. Specifically, I want to see if it's possible for me to teach and educate those on unlocking their psychic abilities as I have mine.
Where would you want to put that school? Squash seems like insanely intrigued by what you just said.
I hadn't given it much thought, but likely I would want it to be somewhere closer to the borders. I would want it to be open to all people. Anybody who wished to learn the ways of psychic powers and greater learning, unlock the abilities of the mind, I think that it would be a nice change of pace to try to share that with the world.
As long as you're happy doing that instead of politics right away. But
I think it would be a good distraction.
Not a distraction. A good goal. Make the place better for people before you try to, on a small scale, before you start trying to rearrange the whole world.
And if anything needs done in politics, I'm sure Ama has some stamps or something. We'll take care of it, yes.
I would hope it wouldn't come to that, but I appreciate that
Rhal's
thought.
just like winking over and over and over.
The concerns that I have is just in terms of, like, regulation and what is and isn't acceptable and everything. I mean, Squash, you weren't here for it in the beginning, but this kind of power has certain... It can do things that shouldn't necessarily be doable or permitted freely, or it's very difficult to make rules on something that up until recent times was not widely known to exist.
I mean, rule number 1, don't use it on someone without their permission.
Okay, I've already broken that rule a lot of times then.
Okay, well, I mean, don't pry into people's
I
minds
literally
without
threw
their
your
permission.
ex into the...
Like, not in an attacking way, like on friendly, don't bust into people's minds without their permission.
Right, that one we learned the hard way.
Isn't there like an entire cast of people, of sorcerers who don't really control their powers that well?
Are they?
Right.
Whatever rules they have for them, whatever guidelines they have for them, surely should be a good, like, starting spot. It sounds like you're dealing with something. Let's be very honest here, Lafian. Your psychic abilities and Demi's magic, it's the same thing to me. It's scary and it's understandable. You can do things that just do not even... It's yeah. So I think maybe looking into that might be a good way, because they surely have a lot of children that are dealing with that kind of stuff.
That's an idea of a good starting point. I'll look into it when I can. Maybe when things aren't bleak and apocalyptic.
So not in our lifetimes, huh?
Well, not in
Hey.
your lifetimes, perhaps.
Hey, listen. Hopefully things will be not bleak and apocalyptic after we finish all this shit that we're doing right now.
I would hope. Zaltanna, you can come be a speaker at the school. It'll be good. Welcome, please welcome to the stage, Goddess of Bloody Vengeance, Zaltanna.
Are you sure you want me to speak to people at a school that you're running? Are you like 100% sure that that's what you want, Balance?
You could be a good example of
Zaltanna is the hype person that gets people into the school. We know Zaltanna is the hype man.
You can be there at the entrance ceremonies and say, "Welcome to the school. Thank you for committing to having your brains unlocked." Something I don't know.
Yeah,
Listen, I think it just
imagine
gives me a little bit of a flex if I can be like, "Hey, I'm best friends with a goddess."
You're going to have to make the school sound.
It'll
less,
increase the enrollment.
You're gonna have
Enrollment
to,
fees just spiked.
You'll have to make it sound less scary.
Less scary. All right. We'll have the medical ward named after you, Rhal.
Okay.
All of our clerics on hand and other healers of such
You're
will
gonna
be
have
required to heal.
You're going to have a whole ward in your school for medical stuff?
Have you seen the things I can do? Yes.
the Raljak Terrasan Center
Sorry.
for Healing.
Nope, you fucked up. It's fine.
It's okay.
Listen,
Squash, I'm not insinuating just that people are going to get hurt. I can heal people. That is a thing I have.
Yeah, it's just like if you're going to a whole ward, it's not even going to be like a nurse.
Maybe
it's a
there are
whole
people who
ward.
wish to learn more of the healing arts and less of the exploding Adia's brain arts.
Very funny. Don't we have an empress
to
to
get
hang
back
out
to.
with that doesn't?
I'm going to
It
go
doesn't-
check in with Kaiki and Com and see how that's going. I appreciate the conversation. We all need a little bit of lightheartedness once in a while, I think.
Rhal still looks like he's focusing hard.
Rhal, please don't rupture a vessel in your brain or something. Please just...
Okay. Rhal, you mentioned that you were going to do something.
He's kind of
What is it that
meditating.
you're going to do?
Okay, V.
Let's do this, man.
Here's
Let's do
the
it.
dumb thing I'm going to want to try.
Oh, God.
Hit me. I'm ready.
So, Rhal understands magic fancy bags in the stocking plane and transferring items to and from the stocking plane via his
Yes.
specter. And he's shown interest in learning a couple specter things early.
Oh, God.
And he can take himself to the stocking plane. So Rhal has like a fork in his hand, and he's trying to set the fork down somewhere in the stocking plane. And basically not have like a bag of holding, but just be able to set little things down in the stocking plane and then reach. Like if I wanted to put a coin behind Squash's ear so that I could do a cool magic trick later and pull a coin from behind his ear, I could do that, and I could just keep a coin behind Squash's ear. But in the stocking plane.
I don't appreciate that you're
Neil.
gonna do real magic to imitate sleight of hand magic. You invent your own goddamn magic, please.
Neil, I again feel like I've had this conversation maybe 100 episodes ago in which I stated this is a very dangerous precedent. And I'm not sure that allowing you to shove stuff into the stalking plane to perform benign acts of sleight of hand magic is acceptable.
Just want to store them
Because
there
it sounds reasonable on the surface, Neil.
on the surface.
But I also know you.
Well, what can
I also know
possibly
that you
do?
will do something.
What
I
something
don't know,
could I
Neil,
do?
and that's my problem.
Well, I can't. I'm not
My
trying
worry
to take
is-
Dacian to the stalking plane. Not
My
yet.
worry is, Neil, this will open up a whole avenue of shit you're going to start fucking me with. But, that being said, I will allow you to do small things.
Yeah,
Small things, Neil.
he just has a fork.
No bigger than a
boy.
fork.
Yeah, not to mention all the things he puts there are completely at the Spectre's mercy and the mercy of the stalking plane that he's not in.
Yes, because by not going through like an official bag of holding, you're
yeah,
not
it's not
employing
secure
like a...
holding, like, you know.
Yeah. I will allow such bullshittery up to a point. And then you can keep
He's-
testing that limit,
He's
Neil.
basically trying to give, just kind of like how Spectre took things from him, like Spectre took the note from him when he had written
Yeah.
it. He's just trying to mimic that, but, you know, learn how to set things to and from the planes.
I will allow such bullshittery, yes. And it can progress at this small items for now, Neil, for now.
Perfect. I have no plans with it. I just think it's funny.
I feel like you have plans, Neil.
I don't have plans.
That's my problem.
No.
Oh boy.
I will allow this. Yes, you can put a fork in the stalking plane. It takes a few attempts.
Yes.
But eventually you put it down and nobody hears the clink on the table.
We'll
and
say it takes time to do as well, because like it's a meditative thing, and so that makes it to where he can't just do it in combat and hide something really valuable from,
I'll allow this. These are good terms that we have negotiated. We now have audio proof negotiations. Okay, you can definitely do this.
Rhal gets excited when he finally sets his fork down in the stalking plane. And all the specters probably facepalm.
What is he doing? I don't know.
Tink.
Wait, who put that coin there? I didn't put that coin there.
Okay. So, with let's stay with Laffian for a bit. With Laffian heading up to the front of the Witches' Society, you see Common arriving, like off in the distance and making their way towards where Kythea is. She's just kind of sitting on the front steps, waiting. And you can see her beginning to look through the book, the Avatar book, just somewhere in the middle, just like completely like, what the hell does this mean? Look about her face. And she sees you coming, like puts the book back in her bag, and I think that's Common.
Accent.
Good times. Wait, what?
Oh, wait. Oh, no, wait, no. Is she walking out in broad daylight as Tiefling now? I forgot whether or not that was established that, like, that's cool now.
It is cool here in Falsam.
Okay, all right.
Because y'all did fight a big battle.
Right. And we had our army there, and we were, okay, all right.
Yeah, and you're currently also in the Dawn.
This was one thing that I was scared about when the child left with our armies, is that one of our armies was cats. And they're not. We're not supposed to let our cats out.
Cats and devil people.
They're not supposed to be out.
Yeah, they were a mixed thing. Like, you are currently in the Dawn, so it's not technically, it is breaking the intercontinent laws. However, you don't know where the Dawn stand on that. So they seem to be working just as hard as everybody else around here.
And we're
so yeah, she's out in.
And we're intending to renegotiate those terms.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
So yeah,
never mind.
Common makes her way over.
Neil, cut that. Cut that entire.
No, keep that. Keep that.
No accent. Call out. It's fine. Laffian would have known that. I just.
Oh, hey, look, there's Common. And she puts the book back in her bag. Common arrives, and she looks, happy, refreshed. And she says,
I've had a spot of good news. I think I know where it is.
That's very good news.
I spoke to a friend of a friend and I owe him a favour, but that's not a big deal. We can go there and find out more about Brad. Rather exciting. Do we have anyone capable of teleporting us there? I don't possess those skills. I'm just a humble librarian.
Where is there?
There is a place to the west of Lynn's Laments. The way it describes, there are 2 dunes of sand, obelisks, black sand all around. I've written it down.
And you see her like reach into like a pocket, and she pulls out this kind of like scroll, and you can see that it has like a written description on there.
It was through a series of sending spells, and it was kind of piecemeal I put together, but I believe I got the gist.
Does that ring a bell?
Yes, you've been to Lynn's Lament.
Okay, the obelisk part and everything. Okay.
Yes, you have heard this description before. Squash let you know.
Laffian has like a very, like, are you fucking kidding me face? And it's just like, is that so? Obelisk and dunes, yes.
Indeed. I'm excited to go.
Son of a bitch.
When do we leave? Is this still something we're pursuing?
Yes. So, okay. We're going to need all of our smart people, and probably the less smart people too. Are we expecting resistance there? Is there fighting? I shouldn't
think so. It's a library. There's no fighting in the libraries.
And
Okay.
you see her, like, she kind of like chuckles a little bit.
So maybe just the smart.
Just be quiet
Maybe just the
in the
smart ones then.
library.
All right.
I disagree. I think it's useful for anyone who goes there. People should be armed with knowledge, smart or not. That could only be a good thing.
That's fair.
Everyone finds something different in the library.
He kind of like leans over to Kythea and just in a whisper is like, you understand Rhal's going to touch something, yes?
I know, don't worry about it. I know, maybe somebody with us know, like, how to stop magic things going off. I don't know. Maybe the librarian would be really good.
Oh, okay. I'm worried about the magic thing going off is going to be Rhal touching something. I told you about what happened with the fireball.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Well,
someone needs to
we'll
keep
keep an eye on him. Don't
Yes,
worry. I mean,
please, okay.
Ama will be there. Like, Ama will keep an eye on him, I'm pretty sure.
But I think she's going to touch something too. It's the problem. It's fine. We'll deal with it when we get to that. Okay. Yes. Let me go get the others, and then we'll. All right. Well, I'll be right back. I know a person who can get us there. Whether or not he'll do it's another thing. Excuse me for one moment. Laffy goes running back inside, and since he's already outside at the Witches' Society first, he's gonna make a beeline to where Tremple should be.
Okay, going to the place where Trempel normally is, like his little office. As you get there, you see Trempel actually on the reception desk, and he's talking to this kind of like well-built gnome who has dark purple hair. Huh. He's leaning on this staff, and he's wearing like clearly very like he gives off the aura of magic, just like that little electrical bars on the back of your neck. And he's leaning on this staff, and he says, "Well, no, of course, now I am here, I will take over all of this. You'll keep your positions, of course. The teachers will keep theirs. But there are other people here, of course, that I will have to naturally fire. Unfortunately, it's just how new management works, stamping in new power and authority. Hello. Welcome to the Witch Society, young man. What can I do to help you?"
I'm sorry, I don't think we've ever met. My name is Laffian Dathrudy, a pleasure. You are?
A pleasure to meet you. I am Thurston. I am the new head of the Witcher Society.
As I go to my notes. How would one spell that name?
One would spell it, if one was so inclined, Thurston.
New head of Witcher Society. I see. Well, I needed to have a word here with our good buddy Trempel.
Well, any official business can go through myself, of course. How may I help you, young Dathrudy?
Less official business, more favors for friends.
Well, if it's a magical favour, then unfortunately Tremble here is signed up to the Witches' Society and has to follow our rules. So any additional magical help has to be put through the correct channels, so that he doesn't do something he is not supposed to or unregulated and have you then turn on us and sue us. Please, we can step this way and we can have a conversation about it. And he points off to like the chairs that are kind of like nearby.
Turn on
that are kind of in the corridor.
Sue. Okay. You understand we're in the middle of a war, yes?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Which is why I have to be exceptionally careful about how all of our resources are used. This is not one of these namby-pamby things where you can just go in and out as you choose and hire whoever you wish. No, we're out of those days, thank you very much, young man. Things will be order here now.
I see. He is looking at Tremple like... Ooh. What?
Trempel just like, as he's just looking down at this gnome, is just like, shrugs his shoulders a little bit.
All right. Sorry, I don't think I've ever actually met you. Did you study here, or were you in one of the more southern locations of the Witches? He's trying to distract the gnome by getting him to talk about himself, because it seems like this guy is really, about himself, so to speak. And assuming that works, then he's going to try to telepathically get to Tremple, just speak.
Take a persuasion roll.
Sure.
Because you may not have magic, but he still understands what this looks like.
11.
You get so far. Like you're about to, like you've just distracted them, but there's something about something that you're doing. Like he's picking up that you're not quite as engaged as you should be. So you can get a message out to Trempel, but he will have spotted you doing this.
That's fine, as long as he doesn't know what the contents of the message are.
No, there's no way he could. So
okay. Telepathically to Trempel, he's going to say, "We've discovered the location of Ogma's library. It's very important we get there. It's near where we left Lynn's Lament. We need to go there."
Trempel just nods in return. No, please. Have none of this messaging backwards and forwards stuff. We can conduct official business.
Sorry,
that is totally fine.
I phased out a little bit then. My apologies. I don't have the capability of messaging. I'm not a accomplished spellcaster such as yourselves.
You know what you need to roll?
Deception?
Yes.
21.
You are capable, even if you don't have the specific spell.
This is a good deception roll.
It is a very good deception roll. Well, we need to keep you focused, obviously. Well, please, if you wouldn't mind coming to sit down, we can discuss the terms of the agreement that we can come upon for contracting Trempel services.
Well, I think I'd heard one other concern that I actually wanted to inquire about. You said you're planning on firing people here.
Oh, yes. Just part of new management, some out with the old, in with the new sort of thing. There are some people here who are not quite as qualified as one would like.
I'm going to loop back to what I said before. You understand we're at war right now.
You understand we're at war. I am the head of the Witches' Society. I am responsible for our response in this. If I do not control and understand everything and the way that things work here, I cannot form a proper response. I can't have people coming and going as they please. I can't have people off and about when I, for example, might need them to perform a certain task, certain things to help other people out. The bigger picture.
Short-staffing yourself, though?
I didn't say that I wasn't going to bring new people in, did I?
I see.
Now that certain former mistresses are no longer in charge, some of the old guard are more than happy to return.
As long as you're still working for the good of the people.
I don't work for neither the dawn nor the dusk. Neither the Witches' Society nor the Lodge work for either. We are always here for the people.
Right. Well, I think that would be it then. If you do disemploy any people here, you are free to tell them that they are welcome to help with any needs the Dathardirs might have. We can give them job opportunities. Magic is still magic.
I will let them know as soon as I have to release anyone from service that the Dathardirs are more than welcome to give them a job. I will tell them that is the case.
Much appreciated. I have other business to attend to then. It was a pleasure meeting you, Master Thurston.
Deception check?
Do you want me to?
No. He clearly isn't impressed with you, and it's obvious it's the same the other way. Well, have a pleasant day, and you continue fighting your part in this war. Good day. And he turns back to Trempel, who has actually just left. As you were distracting, Trempel just walked around and came up behind you and is waiting for you outside.
You're welcome.
So you got this description?
We have the description, and we were there before. You've been to the location.
You see him look at his hand, and he's like, yeah, I remember.
Sorry, don't mean to bring up bad memories.
No. Hand or death. I'll lose the hand, thanks. All right, that's where we'll leave them. And then we'll jump over to the other three who are going to meet Apella.
I hope your meeting's better than that one.
No,
I know you got Trimp out of this.
Well,
I did, but that
replaced by
fucking
somebody higher
gnome.
up.
I fucking love this gnome.
I hate him. I already hate him.
Calling it Apella's being replaced by somebody higher up.
Well, of course, I'm now in charge of the Dawn also. No,
All right, everybody grab your weapons. We're going to war against these people first.
No, we're just going to war with
take
the
down.
gnome.
Okay, so the three of you make your way towards where New Apella's tent was. Yeah, and she's essentially, when you arrive, the same very tall human who is very well built is standing outside with their arms crossed.
Rhal waves.
Hey,
Hey.
we're here to see Apella.
Got an appointment?
I'm the goddess of bloody vengeance. Do you think I need a freaking appointment?
He starts at, he looks down at you, looks down at your toes, looks you like up until he kind of gets to the very top of your head, looks back you in the eyes and says, I wouldn't care if the Sentinel themselves turn up. This is my job. Do you have an appointment?
I'm going to look at Rhal and go, can you believe this freaking guy?
Are you like winking at me to do something?
Yeah, she's like
That's okay.
giving you
Shit.
you a look like
Rhal
I don't
only
know.
does one thing. Okay, I'll do it.
What could she possibly be asking you? What could she possibly be hinting at you to do?
I just don't think it's a good idea, but okay.
Ralph spits acid in his face.
Rhal spits acid everywhere. Rhal melts.
Listen, you
Okay.
you sent a fucking ex-mobster to do this. I don't know what you were expecting.
I'm assuming that means hour of reaping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You do hour of reaping, and for the two of you next to him, you see him turn into that skeletal figure with like huge wings and hourglasses all over him now. But the guy standing on the door just looks Rhal up and down and stares him in the eyes.
Rhal drops Hour of Reaping with just a blank face. Blinks a couple times. Looks back at Zaltanna.
Zaltanna shrugs and pretends like nothing weird happened. Go in there.
How important is it?
It's real friggin' important. You think I'd be friggin' wasting my time with you if it wasn't important? God.
All right. You see him like duck inside the tent a minute. He still kicks like one leg out, so you know that he's like blocking the door, the entrance to the tent. And you hear him like call off to someone in the distance. A moment later, he steps back outside and says, give her a minute. She's indisposed. And hear like the clattering, or at least Squash would hear the clattering of armor being put on, and he then steps back and lets you in.
I just want to say, when he says that, Zaltanna winks at him.
He smiled. You can see like the corner of his mouth lift a little bit, and you see like half a wink back. Yeah.
Friends. Okay. I'm gonna walk in.
Yep. You see Apella sitting where she was before. You see that there are the bodyguards that are standing behind her, like one hand resting on their weapon, one arm behind their back, sort of thing. And they are standing at attention and ready. You can see off at the other end of the tent, which is kind of like there's kind of like another screen between like the partitions, the room off, and you hear a little bit of movement from in there, but you don't know what that is. Yeah, and she's sitting there ready and waiting for you. And she says, "Come on, sit down. What is it?"
Your Highness. Just wondering about... Fuck. What is the name of the place I'm supposed to be talking about again? I have...
Giata.
Gaeta. We wanted to talk to you about Gaeta. Giata.
You see her like frown a little bit and she says, I don't really know much about it myself. It's maybe a place up north or south.
We're hoping. We're trying to get there. We think that we need to go there. And we were hoping that you had an easier way to get us towards our goal of getting there.
Maybe someone on the Witcher site knows how to get there.
Zaltanna looks struck because that's absolutely true. And now she's like, why the fuck did Balance send me here?
She does like raise like one of her hands and like does like the finger holding moment. And she gestures to one of her bodyguards who come down and she whispers something quietly in his ear. And he goes off. And she looks back at you and says, I'll have one of my mages come. They're a little bit kooky, but they might know more about Gieta. They're a bit more versed in different places in this world than I am.
Lindgren ran to... I was going to say, Lindgren ran to Apella too, right?
Yeah, the last you saw that Lindgren was coming here.
Oh, yeah.
Your Majesty, you haven't seen a squirrely asshole of a man wearing some anti-magic cuffs, have you?
Roll an insight check.
I'm not good at those. See how I do.
I will be rolling that too, even though I'm not good at those either. Because this is too funny to not join in on.
God, it's 12.
19.
Is Rhal joining in this insanity?
No. It's a natural 1. For 9.
Natural 1, he's still 9!
Yeah, my insight's really good. Rhal knows when people like him and don't, and plan on hurting him and don't.
Oh, boy.
He knows people.
She looks like a little bit like... For Rhal, you don't notice any reaction or any flinching to this. Like, maybe her cheeks get a little bit flush. Maybe it's warm. For the two of you who got over a 10, she has clearly heard this name. She has clearly met this person. And in Squash's case, on a 19, she definitely knows this person. She has definitely seen him fairly recently.
V, I'm so mad at you right now. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Is that...
Do you know who's behind the curtain?
I do know who's behind the curtain. Zaltanna doesn't, but Casey sure knows.
He's still shackled up. That's what she likes.
Are you gonna like poke Zaltanna because Zaltanna's just like kind of like looking at her like, what the fuck is going on?
No, Squash knows that you want to murder Lindgren, and he's not going to tell you Lindgren's behind a flimsy little sheet of cloth. And 5 minutes ago, he was fucking probably the second most powerful woman in the world.
You can make whatever assumptions you want. Yeah, I know him.
You ain't seen him recently, have you? We're trying to get... We found him earlier, and we were trying to talk to him about signing over some property to my friend.
Right, he mentioned that. Some place in Falsam, right?
When did we mention that?
He.
Oh, he mentioned. Oh, so you have seen him?
Yeah. I've met with him. He's he mentioned about releasing some property and that someone's former murder conviction should be overturned. And she looks in Rhal's direction. Because Ama wasn't killed by Rhal, but by someone else. He asked me to overlook the fact that she's no longer dead. I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet.
Well, you know where to find us if you have questions, and I have to prove myself, that's fine.
Rhal, I appreciate everything that you all seem to be doing for this effort, and I'm willing to put a hold on it just this once, just until afterwards. We'll figure it out then. I don't know, maybe the world will change so much that it's not really a problem anymore, but you all do realise why it's banned, right?
We didn't need a diamond to bring her back.
It's not the diamonds. Every time that you bring someone back, you punch a hole between the veils of the planes. You get shimmers, hazes, a bit like the portal, but much smaller. That's why we're infested with celestials and demons. If we just stopped fucking doing it, we wouldn't have that problem. But we do. And the more often we do it, the more those veils fall apart.
Sometimes we need help for the demons, though.
If we stopped punching holes, we wouldn't need help with the demons. There will come a point, if we punch too many holes, there's going to be no difference between the dead and the living. There's no difference between the celestials and the demons come through, or the stalking. This is why it's banned.
I get it.
I'm glad. Whereas, I'm willing to overlook it right now. Like, put it on hold. But she's the only one I can do that for. You understand that, right?
Your Majesty?
Rhal nods. Kind of slowly.
Aima was not brought back by conventional means. The very god of death permitted this action.
Why work for a miracle now, I could ask?
I don't know if it makes any change, but
I could try to close the holes if we could find them.
Could the both of you roll a persuasion roll?
look at us go.
Dun, dun,
I don't know where
dun.
you're going, but you're going somewhere.
There's a roll happening.
All right, yeah, I've got a +0, so 13.
22. Damn.
One of us is a lot more likable than the other.
Not by default, it was just a good roll.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, you only have a
good
+3.
Yeah, that's not one of my specialties.
I'll take that under advisement.
Your Majesty, can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, Squash notwithstanding, me and Rhal and Laffian all were in one of your jails. Sounds like you're thinking of you that after this is all solved, you want to potentially put us back there, right? You can be honest with me.
The thing is, Laffian, he's not Dawn.
Right.
He's royalty now. He's Dawn. He's Dusk. You're gonna be a goddess, right? You're not even gonna be here.
That's what I want to talk to you about. I am. But if you're willing to... I'm worried about Rhal, mostly. I'm the only one of us who actually killed someone.
Right.
As long as I fulfill all of my trials before this is over, one of which is saving the world, I'm going to be a goddess. So the way I see it, you can put all of their crimes on me and kill me and I won't really die. So that's my proposal.
Your bloodiness, I am not stupid enough to hang a goddess. I know the limits of my power, even though some of my people don't think I've got them. We both know what that's like. I'm not going to try and hang goddess. Rhal's innocent by all accounts. Laffian has nothing to do with me or my people. As far as I'm concerned, the three of you are what you are. And Lindgren can go hang himself if he thinks otherwise.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think some of our fans would enjoy that, actually.
I'm glad to hear you say that because boy, oh boy, does he have some bloody vengeance coming down on him.
I would appreciate if you don't randomly kill him, but Who am I to argue with the goddess of bloody vengeance? But yeah.
Is it a cough from behind the curtain?
He and I have.
I was going to say Squash
He and I have some. Squash is what?
Squash is listening for like Lindrin's like.
Disgruntled breaths.
Sounds of
you
discomfort.
You do hear a like an intake of breath, but it's very quiet.
I want to like a full on.
Listen.
No, just a very, very quiet intake of breath. And she says, no, she says nothing. As the door to the entrance to the tent kind of crashes open, and you see standing before you a human male. He is quite old in years. His skin is very parchment. He looks very frail. His body is absolutely covered in runes. It's also covered in a lot of scars. This guy's clearly been through some stuff. He's using 2 sticks and he's very, like, leaning on them very heavily. He's very old, very frail, and you can see there's an attendant with him. The bodyguard that went off came back with him and is guiding him to sit down. This man puts both his sticks on the table as he sits, and he says, "Hello. I hear you need to talk about a place called Geta."
Hi everyone, we're all here. I just wanted to say thank you to Thirsty for the name Thurston. If you would also like to submit names, you could find us on Patreon, where you can join patrons like Dom. Thank you so much, Dom, for your support. You can also join us on Patreon and get those benefits as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. If you would like to send us an email, you can find us at theluckydiepodcast@gmail.com. And thank you all so much for listening. I've really enjoyed how Season 2 has started so far. It was very fun. Did a lot of things, was busy, do the things. Stay in tune for more doing things, and we will see you next time for the things. Bye.
My name's Olivia, and this is the Y2K podcast. I found a bunch of files. It's 20-year-old voicemails between my mum and a friend of hers.
Hi, Kat. You always know when something's off, don't you?
Jess, I feel so great.
That was Rachel. She's... wow.
I feel empty.
Sending you hugs across all the oceans.
Oceans of hugs? That's perfect.
Y2K. New episode every Friday all through 2020, starting January 3rd.